Hi, I'm Vicki Page, Director of Solutions Marketing for AIOps in Broadcom's Enterprise Software Division. I'm here today with Sudip Datta, Head of AIOps and Monitoring Products for the Enterprise Software Division at Broadcom. Hi, Sudip. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Vicki. Doing good and glad to be here.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about how digital experience is more important than ever for our customers today.
Digital experience is more important than ever before because customer loyalty has fundamentally changed over time. My dad, I recall, used to bank with the same bank, brick and mortar bank, throughout his life. Now customer loyalty is razor thin, right? Whether they're banking, whether they're staying in a hotel or shopping in a retail store, customer loyalty is shifting all the time. And today, software is driving the world. As Jeff Immelt famously said, that every experience today is driven by software. Now, anecdotally, it has been seen that 53% of the customers abandon a website if it fails to load within 6 seconds. And 60% of them never ever come back. And that's why it's very important to render a positive, consistent digital experience that persists over time. And that's why it's so important.
What are some industry examples that you see of transforming customer experience?
The transformation that we see varies from industry to industry. And from Broadcom, we are working with customers across different segments. And I can give you examples from some of these segments. For example, we are working with a lot of large banks, right? And every bank is going through an omni-channel digital banking enablement, right? And 83% of the millennials, I read somewhere, do not ever want to visit a brick and mortar bank, right? They bank through their mobile applications, through the web browsers, etc. So that part is almost solved. That battle is won. Now, most of the banks are focused on increasing their engagement with the customer, which means increasing the engagement over the important points in life when someone gets married or buys a house or relocates somewhere else. The bank wants to be involved with that customer at those interesting moments in life. And banks are trying to simplify the whole process. For example, one of the oldest banks, who is our customer, they are converting their loan application process from days to clicks. So that's happening on the banking side. The retail experience is very similar because I can give you examples from the cosmetic industry where a particular retailer is promoting a try and buy concept where you can try on the web and then eventually check out and buy. And they want to improve their conversion rate and reduce the churns. And that's what they are focused on, right? Similarly, there is a retail side of things in the telco segment. We are working with all the large telcos, and you will be glad to know that the day iPhone 11 was launched, like we were possibly the only vendor who was involved with all the providers out there. So there is this retail side of telco, which is all about improving the customer experience, managing the order flows, reducing bill shocks, etc. But also telcos are being disrupted by everything that's happening with 5G, Wi-Fi 6, 4K, etc. And then there is a downstream effect on the technology that these telcos deploy. So we are involved with customers across the board, right, from financial sector, telcos, retailers, etc., in being part of their digital transformation journey.
So how are these different industries being impacted by the volume, velocity, and variety of data that they're having to deal with today?
That's an excellent question because today, of course, everyone is going through a digital transformation, but this digital transformation is happening at the time where the underlying technology is also transforming at a very fast rate. And I will give you specific examples, right? For example, we saw with the emergence of cloud, the evolution of technology by leaps and bounds, right? For example, a few years back, we were talking about virtualization. Now we are talking about containers and even serverless computing, right? On the networking side, we are talking about SDNs and SD-WANs. For example, telcos, as they adopt 5G, they have to adopt network slicing. And network slicing means adoption of NFV, right? Network flow virtualization, which also has impact on the technology, the SDN technologies that they adopt, right? So technology is fundamentally changing. The servers and the network components are more dynamic, more ephemeral, which makes it a lot of challenge for IT to manage these components. That's number one. Number two, all these components of what I call the digital chain, right, from the end user layer, the application layer, the infrastructure, and the network, today are being managed by plethora of tools, different tools for each of these domains, right, which create operational silos. And number three is there is a data explosion. All these tools are generating petabytes of data today, and it's humanly not possible to go through all these data and make sense of the data, let alone take automation actions on those data, right? So those are some of the challenges that we are seeing across the board, across different customer segments.
So how can artificial intelligence and machine learning help with some of those challenges that the customers are having today in those industries?
So what we call AIOps today is precisely that, right? It includes artificial intelligence and machine learning. There are 5 imperatives to a successful AIOps. First of all, it has to be related to business. For long, IT has been completely disconnected to business. So we want to be able to connect the business KPIs to the IT metrics to see what are the high impact items and how to resolve problems related to those high impact items, number one. Number two, you need full stack observability, because otherwise it creates blind spots. Whether you're running an application on the cloud or on-prem or hybrid, you need observability along the entire digital chain. Number three is you need to support different types of data. The 3 V's, the volume, variety, and the velocity of data is very important. Number 4 is as you get the data, you want to perform machine learning based analytics on top of the data to do specific things like root cause analysis, capacity planning, predictive analytics, etc. And last but not the least, you need automation, because monitoring and analytics is only half the job done. Unless you can remediate the problem, you haven't completely reduced your OpEx. And it is very important to tie it to an intelligent automation system that can automatically remediate those problems.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the roles in the organization that are changing, in particular the role of site reliability engineer. How do you see site reliability engineers, or SREs, helping transform customer experience?
Excellent question. We are increasingly talking to SREs in various organizations. As we talk to SREs, we find that they're responsible for essentially 3 things. Number 1, define the SLOs, service level objectives, and SLIs, service level indicators, which we suggest be aligned to business KPIs, as I mentioned before. Number 2, detect, debug, and remediate the problems. That's where AIOps comes in, combines the data from multiple sources, performs root cause analysis, and also integrates with automation to remediate the problem. And number 3 is predict and proactively deal with problems. And that's where we need not only participation of operational data, but also data to the left of operational data, where we bring the DevOps data and the planning data into one single platform called automation.ai, and be able to perform things like recommendation, release with confidence, look at testing data, look at planning data, and find the root cause to the root cause. For example, if there is a problem in a particular application because of a bug, did the bug happen because of longer cycle duration, large chunks of changes being introduced into the system, lack of proper test cases and planning? So we should be able to do that kind of diagnosis. And SREs increasingly are talking to us not only from the operational side of these things, but also from an end-to-end perspective.
Thank you, Sudip, for your insights today on how Broadcom is helping customers transform their experiences. If you'd like to learn more about how you can transform your customer's experience, visit us at automation.ai.